What's good, YouTube? Back at it with some more updates. Got the quarter panel done. Not done, but for the most part. These aftermarket ones are a little tricky. Let's see where I start. I had to trim off of this back here because it was a little too wide, so I trimmed that down. And the back I haven't welded on yet, but I'm gonna drill some holes here and I'll spot weld them on, although there's still the plug weld holes on the inside from the factory when I had the old quarter panel on, so I might go on the inside of the trunk and just plug weld it to this, instead of drilling holes to the outside since the holes are already there. So yeah, I gotta plug weld them up, one there every so often. I'll plug weld some holes and then seam seal that up. And the bottom, all the way around the whole bottom, I used glue, panel bonding. That's why it's sitting there clamped until tomorrow, I'm guessing. I think it'll be dry. Yep. You want to clamp that real good, but you don't want to clamp them tight. He said that glue, don't want to be any stretching, or what I'm saying. You want to just let the glue grab where it's at. What I'm saying. Don't squeeze them real tight, because then when you let go, you got that fight with the glue. What I'm saying, that could cause cracking. So just if you want it tight, make sure your metalwork is nice and your metalwork is flush together with each other. What I'm saying. So that's how you get your tightness. Don't try to squeeze it. What I'm saying, because that glue don't need to be squeezed tight, just enough where it's holding it together. Yep, you get that. That's all glued all the way around in there, and that glue can only contact the bare metal. So wherever there's going to be glue, you want it to be bare metal. Yep. So I got it glued there. Whole bottom, I glued all the way around there, all the way around the fender. Oh, and then I also had to replace my inner. See if I can show y'all. That was rusted all the way in there, like it was literally rusted out. So I cut that out. I cut out the whole sidewall and the bottom. So it's like a L, what I'm saying? You got the floor of the trunk, and then you got the sidewall of the tub. I replaced them. And then after I welded that up, I went over it with some kitty hair, Evercoat kitty hair, which is, just like your Duraglass, some waterproof filler. So the short strand filler. But that way, it keeps any moisture out and gets them welds nice and sealed up. I'll knock that down with an 80 grit. I might start with a 36 just to get it down, and then 80 grit it, and then I'll probably chassis save this whole inside, otherwise rubberized Cody. But I'm probably just gonna chassis save it because that's what I'm gonna do the rest. So yep, that's what I had to do there. And around here, I had to custom make this because it didn't come like that. Oh, and then these lips you see these vice grips script onto. This right here, see, this whole piece you see right here, I had to weld onto there. They didn't come from the factory with it down, they just came in. So this down, I just took a little piece and welded it on, so that way, what I'm saying, you can do factory, clamp it back up. But yeah, that down ain't on these factory pieces. Same with right here. That down spout there ain't on this quarter panel when you buy it. You gotta weld that on. That way you can clamp that all together. And let's see. Got the trunk. I still gotta weld all this, but I got all that welded. See my welds here. Try to get it so you can see it, but that's my weld there. That's ready for some kitty hair filler, just like up here, some waterproof filler. fill over my welds there. And then my doors, I had to get my doors all lined up from the old factory quarter panel before I even started onto this quarter panel. That way when we did put this on, we could just go off the door line, you know what I'm saying? Because the door line's already adjusted to the old quarter panel before I took it off. So we just sat and moved it until we got it lined right up, and then that's where it welded. Same with down here. You know, get that line. I welded it, got that line where I want, and then I pulled down after I got this all welded, because otherwise when I pulled down on this clamp here, when I tightened on that clamp, it pulled it down, you know what I'm saying, too much. So these lines were off, so I had to weld as I went, you know what I'm saying. But yep, and then also another thing we had to do is, I guess I should say I had to, this right here was all the way over when they came from the factory, or came from the good mark or whatever. It was too wide, so I had to trim all the way down. And also before I put this on, the corner that was on there, I trimmed that off, you know what I'm saying. So this right here is just a lap. It's not a butt weld, this is all just lapped onto here. So I'll grind that down smooth, and then I'll just have that little bit of filler to fill. But yep, and it's in there, so you'll never see that shadow, you know, that line there. So, but yep, and these are spot welds. Spot weld there, there, and there. So got that all spot welded on the side, all the way on there it's butt welded. All the way down there is butt welded. The whole bottom is all panel bonded. And I'll show you the panel bonding we used. Let's see here. This is the stuff right here. Part number 3M. Panel bonding adhesive. And there it is. 3M panel bonding adhesive. 08115. But you need this gun here, which is not cheap. I don't know if this is the $300 one or what, but they have 3M, and they don't want. They do have cheaper versions of these guns, but this is the more expensive one. But the school got it from the 3M rep for, you know, buying supplies or whatever. Yep, that's the glue we use. It's a two-part, you know what I'm saying? So just like some of your other seam sealers and stuff, those are two parts. This is the seam sealer I'll be using when I go to do all my seams on my floor pan and everything. That's a two-part. They got one-part seam sealers that's in the caulking tube. Those don't last as long. They will work, they just don't last as long and not, you know, not as good. These are the two parts, but they require a more expensive gun to apply them. So, but yeah, this is the seam sealer I'm going with. It is a self-leveling seam sealer. They got a heavy bonded seam sealer too. So, yep, self-leveling. 08307, 08307. Yep, that's the seam sealer, and then like I said, that's the panel bonding adhesion. Pretty much all 3M over here. They do have Fusier, but I went with 3M. And then this is the gun. The gun you'll be using for the seam sealer. It's a cheaper gun. It's only like 40 bucks. It's 3M 08571. So that's just a two-part gun for this. So it's like 30 bucks for these each time, and then this here was like 40 one-time thing. They were trying to sell me the $300 one, but I ended up finding out they did make a cheap one, so I got that. But yeah, there's my seam sealers, and there's my panel bonding. Coming along, YouTube. Yep, so let's see. So, yep, I just gotta grind them welds down tomorrow there, them spot welds and the plug welds, and be ready for filler there. See, I got her lined right up. Let that glue dry. Hopefully I'll get them clamps off tomorrow without them being glued on. But whatever. Just happy I got the quarter on, you know. Got this whole side of the car pretty much done. Now it's all ready for just the mud work. New rockers, inner and outer. Doors done. It's ready. Well, not done, but ready for the surfacer. Quarter panels almost ready for the mud work. Ready to hit up the other side, YouTube. Some of the tools I used. Just a Lincoln 180. And I didn't have it set real hot. I was just sit there, and that's not at 220. I just got a 110 cord plugged into it. So let's see what else. And then I did use this stud welder here to pull out that. Just like I said, I think I showed you guys before. You just put these little rods. I don't know if you can see that. Copper rods. You just put them in there, and then when you pull on the trigger, it welds it right to whatever you put it to. That way you got a rod sticking out, and you can pull it in case the metal ain't where you want. You can pull the metal out. So there's a couple areas I had to pull out that got a little high, and then we use this to find out, you know what I'm saying? You just pull on them nails until you get it nice and flush. But yep. Some of the other tubes. There's some of the other tools. Cutter, hammer, I guess. I got the 36. I don't know if that tells you 36 and the 80 grit. Little angle die grinder. Screwdriver. A heavy duty 80. Other than that, that's about it, YouTube. Like I said, you want to make sure you measure everything. Measure, you know what I mean? You want to measure everything. I just sat and used this for a measurement. And then I also used a tape measure.
You're going to have a light here tomorrow, right?
A what?
You'll have a light here tomorrow so we check it out.
A light?
Yeah.
I got a light right there.
No, I'm talking about your tail light.
Oh yeah, I'll bring that. I wasn't going to until you said something.
Yeah,
But,
it's got that hole, so we'll have to make a hole for it.
yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. See the.
Studs, you have to drill the holes.
Yep. That's another thing. I'll drill these holes for the rear quarter extension. That the light. See how these got screws on them, Brian? Or bolts coming out of them? Yeah, that's what I was talking about. How they were welded to it. I think the bottom, that's from my bumper there, and then the top, my lights go through there.
Probably like a rubber filler or something.
Yeah, well, the bumper filler that I got, that goes into there, and then the topper for my lights. So, yep. But that's what I got going on, YouTube. Show you some of the other projects here. See if I can get into here without the... Must have this thing. There we go. He did all of his jams, but he's gonna do his door up in this. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty wet. It's like it's almost like a brandy wine, but it's a fake candy. You know what I mean? It's not true candy, but it's a base coat candy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it looks pretty good. He's gonna paint the outside of that with that. Nice little truck. It's like an 80, 87, I think, 88 Chevy. Did the hood. Inside, he did all his fenders. See here, what else we got? Then we got the Fox body guy. Got that Gbody rear end sitting in there. And then the Mustang's almost ready for the booth. He's got it pretty straight. Chassis savered the engine bay. A little dusty in there. Got this all done in surface air. It's ready for some sealer and base coat clear. He's going with silver and silver everything and black top. And then he just put in all these new seats. He did that upholstery himself. He bought the upholstery kit where it's, they're like $300-400, but yeah, you just rip off the old upholstery and right down to the buns on the seat. Then you just put in your new. They go in and staple in some area and clamps in the others, and then they got them hog ties or whatever. So yeah, he did a good job. You'd think a shop did it. Then he took his dash out and painted all that. Got the dupla color trim paint. Yep. Got himself some carpet and he's ready to go. I don't know where that carpet is. Oh yeah, he's got the AAC carpet right here. Maybe y'all recognize that. It's the same what goes in our cutlasses. Oh, check this out. For y'all painters, you got the SATA 5000. Gotta love that. 5000 HVLP. And I can't wait to be the first to use it. Yep. SATA 5000. But yep, YouTube. That's what I got going on here. So I'll get back at you with more. Get that mud work on there and get finished welding that up. Alright, Mr. Get in there. You got any questions, let me know. Alright, YouTube.